Every month, like clockwork, when the moon begins to wane, a quiet ripple moves through the Freemason network. It doesn't appear on social media, and it's never spoken aloud. It's hidden within routine words, subtle gestures, and coded emails written to sound ordinary. But to those who know, the message is clear. The lodge is calling again. Each Mason recognizes their signal. Some receive it as a phrase embedded in a business conversation. Others hear it as a specific knock pattern on a wooden desk, echoing the same three-beat rhythm carved into Masonic legend. No matter where they are in the world, from London's shadowed chambers to secret rooms beneath New York's old architecture, they know what it means. It's time for the monthly gathering. While most people think Freemasons only meet a few times a year for formal events, insiders know there's a smaller, more private meeting every month. It's not about charity work or community projects. This one's about realignment. The belief, a Mason's energy, mind, and loyalty must be reset in harmony with the cosmic and moral order before another month begins. The first of the 5 hidden things they do is called the silent toast. When members arrive, there's no loud greeting, no conversation, just silence. They place their personal items, watches, rings, even phones, into wooden boxes marked with carved numbers. A circle of candles burns low on the table, and the Grand Master steps forward with a glass of pure water. He doesn't drink it. Instead, he raises it and everyone else follows. Then, in unison, they hold the glass to their forehead. It's a symbolic gesture meant to purify thought. To outsiders, it would look almost strange, but to them, it's a ritual of memory. They say the water absorbs intention, that by focusing silently, they cleanse their minds of ego, greed, and impurity before proceeding with the rest of the night. No words are spoken for at least 11 minutes, a time carefully chosen because the number represents duality and balance. And when the final candle flickers 3 times, a sign that the energy of the room is aligned, only then does the Grand Master whisper the phrase that marks the opening of every lodge worldwide, "So mote it be." That phrase, believed to have originated centuries ago, isn't just poetic. It's an affirmation, a Masonic version of Amen. But within the inner circles, it's said to carry more than spiritual weight. Some say, when spoken with full intention, it can alter the frequency of the room. A kind of collective consciousness activation the Masons call the binding. Once the binding begins, everyone in attendance is required to participate in the second hidden act, the exchange. This part is rarely mentioned even in unofficial texts, but every Mason keeps a small personal token, a coin, ring, or carved stone engraved with their unique Masonic cipher. During the exchange, they swap this token with another member, always someone they don't know well. It's symbolic of trust, of shared responsibility, but there's another layer to it, one not written down. It is believed that the token you receive carries the moral weight of its previous owner for the month ahead. If they've done good, that energy follows you. If they've done wrong, well, that's the test. Freemasons often talk about the balance of burden. Every man must carry both his own flaws and those of another to understand brotherhood beyond comfort. Some describe this moment as eerily spiritual. The air grows heavier, the candles flicker in synchronization, the silence deepens to the point you can hear your own heartbeat. And just when it feels too heavy, the Grand Master breaks the stillness again with a question. Who walks the line? To which the members respond in unison, the builder within. It is a coded affirmation, a reminder that every Mason must rebuild himself each month from the inside out. But there's a hidden belief tied to it, one that blurs the line between psychology and mysticism. Masons believe that every time they perform this monthly ritual, they shed a part of the outer self, the one corrupted by the world, and strengthen the inner builder, a spiritual architect shaping their destiny brick by brick. Only when this sequence is complete are they allowed to proceed to the second part of the gathering, the reading of the flame, where ancient texts are brought out and each Mason is chosen to interpret one cryptic passage aloud. But that's where things start to get strange, because some claim that the texts aren't just read, they're activated. When the silent toast and the exchange are complete, the candles are replaced by a single flame, one that burns higher, brighter, and strangely steadier than any ordinary fire. The Grand Master calls it the flame of intellect, but among members it's known simply as the Watcher. At this stage, conversation still hasn't begun. Each member stands around the flame, forming a perfect circle. Their shadows bend and stretch along the carved stone floor, forming geometric patterns that align with symbols etched centuries earlier. The room grows warmer. The light pulses faintly, as if responding to the collective breath of those inside. It's here that the second of the 5 monthly rituals begins, the reading of the flame. From a locked chest at the back of the room, the Grand Master withdraws a small black book bound in cracked leather. Its pages shimmer with golden etchings that seem to catch light even in darkness. These are the luminous texts, a collection of allegories, encoded teachings and moral puzzles said to have been written by early Freemasons who combined ancient mysticism with the science of consciousness. Each month, one member is chosen to read a single passage aloud. The process of selection is random, or at least it appears to be. A coin engraved with the eye of providence is spun on the table. Wherever it points when it stops determines the reader. When the chosen Mason steps forward, he must first recite the Oath of Flame, a short verse repeated from memory, word for word, without hesitation. I am the stone, I am the builder, I am the hand that shapes the truth. From darkness I rise, by light I am judged. Only after this oath does he open the book. The passage he reads is never explained, not by him nor by anyone else. Every man must interpret it differently. Some hear moral lessons, others swear the words rearrange themselves depending on who's watching. But what outsiders don't know is that this reading is more than symbolic. Every lodge is designed architecturally to enhance acoustics. The domed ceilings, the stone corridors, the measured distances between walls. When a passage is read aloud, the sound resonates in subtle patterns, creating what Masons call resonant geometry. The belief is that certain phrases, when spoken in specific tones, can tune the mind, similar to chanting in ancient mystery schools. The Grand Master slowly circles the flame as the reading continues, tracing symbols in the air with a small iron rod. The members breathe in rhythm. The fire sways with each word, flickering higher when the energy rises, dimming when emotion falters. It is said that this ritual exists to remind every Mason that knowledge isn't merely studied, it's experienced. The flame, to them, is both literal and metaphorical, the eternal light of reason and the consuming fire of truth. And yet, not everything about the reading of the flame is purely philosophical. Some attendees, even among the initiated, describe sensations during the ritual that science struggles to explain. The room, they say, vibrates faintly. The air grows dense, humming softly. A few claim to see faint streaks of gold rising from the center flame, threads of energy connecting each member in the circle. Older Masons insist it's just suggestion, the power of group focus, but others whisper that the flame watches back. The third hidden act of the monthly gathering begins immediately after the mark of intention. Every Mason keeps a small square of parchment in his jacket pocket, blank when the meeting begins. After the reading, he's instructed to step forward, dip his index finger into a bowl of ink placed near the flame, and press his fingerprint onto the parchment. But the ink isn't ordinary. It's a mix of carbon, ash from past ceremonies, and a drop of sacred oil, symbolizing enlightenment. Once the fingerprint dries, the Mason writes one word beside it, a personal goal, fear, or intention for the coming month. This act may sound simple, but its symbolism runs deep. Freemasonry teaches that every action, no matter how small, leaves an imprint. The fingerprint represents that personal mark on the world, while the word represents the direction of one's inner builder. The papers are stored in a sealed chest until the next month, when each Mason must retrieve his old parchment, burn it before the flame, and create a new one. It's a cycle of renewal, a literal burning away of one's previous self. But what gives this moment its haunting beauty is the silence. As dozens of Masons move forward one by one, the only sound is the faint hiss of the flame and the soft brush of cloth. When the final parchment is placed inside the chest, the Grand Master closes it with a ritual key, an ornate bronze piece carved with the number 33. He turns it once, taps it twice, and locks it with a faint metallic echo. That sound marks the transition to the fourth act of the night, and the next secret many outsiders never hear about, the mirror of virtue. Before it begins, however, each Mason must step away from the flame and look directly into the dark mirror placed behind it. The mirror reflects not just their faces, but the fire between them, splitting the image, half man, half flame. The purpose, they're told, is introspection, to face the duality within, the builder and the destroyer. But according to some who've witnessed it for years, there's more. They say that when the mirror is placed correctly, the reflection doesn't always behave naturally. Some claim the light bends, faces distort, or the flame flickers even when no one moves. Is it symbolism, hypnosis, or something ancient? No one outside the lodge truly knows. When the ritual concludes, the members bow slightly toward the mirror, then the flame is extinguished, not by hand, but by the air itself. The room grows dark. For a few seconds, everything is silent, and then the faint sound of the Grand Master's voice breaks through the blackness. The builder sees. The builder knows. With that, the reading of the flame ends, and the lodge prepares for the next part of the night, the mirror of virtue, where the Masons confront their inner selves in a test that few outsiders would ever believe still happens. When the flame is finally extinguished, the chamber is consumed by shadow. Only the faint golden glow from the mirror remains, not bright, not steady, but pulsing softly, like a heartbeat. The silence stretches so long that it begins to feel alive. No one dares move until the Grand Master speaks again. In that darkness, you can hear the weight of time itself, the slow creak of old wood, the faint hum of stone breathing beneath the earth. Then comes the whisper that signals the next ritual. Let the reflection bear witness. This marks the beginning of the fourth secret act the Freemasons perform every month, the mirror of virtue. At first glance, it appears symbolic, a simple test of character, perhaps a reflection exercise meant to remind members of self-awareness and humility. But what actually unfolds in those next moments feels far deeper, almost supernatural. One by one, the Masons approach the mirror. It stands taller than any man, framed in dark oak, its surface rippling faintly, as though it's made not of glass, but of living light. The Grand Master, standing behind them, holds a small golden pendulum that swings slowly, tracing invisible symbols in the air. Each member's task is simple, to look into the mirror until he can no longer see his own face. It sounds poetic, even meditative, but those who've spoken about it privately describe an unsettling sensation. After about a minute, the mind begins to trick itself. The features in the reflection blur, melt, reform into expressions that don't belong. Some see themselves older, others see their eyes darken. A few, the ones who've failed previous tests, swear that the reflection smiles when they don tea. According to the Lodge's teachings, what they're seeing isn't illusion, it's the unbalanced builder, the part of the self corrupted by ego, deceit, or unfulfilled promise. The goal of the ritual isn't to look away, but to face that reflection and remain unshaken. The room's energy changes during this moment. The faint hum from the flame ritual seems to return, echoing softly in the stone around them. Some describe it as vibration, others as a soundless pressure, like being observed by something unseen. When the Grand Master senses hesitation, he raises the pendulum toward the mirror and whispers, "Align." That word seems to break the tension. The rippling stops, the reflections settle. It's a strange synchronization, as if every member's heartbeat falls into rhythm with the motion of the pendulum. At the end of each man's turn, he places his hand upon the glass. The mirror, warmed by dozens of palms before him, feels almost alive. As he steps back, he's instructed to whisper a single phrase that only he can hear, something personal, something confessional. To the Freemasons, this is more than catharsis. It's a declaration to the Watcher, the symbolic force of light that sees through illusion. To them, the mirror doesn't just reflect the face, it reflects intent. When the last man completes his turn, the Grand Master lowers the pendulum and announces the next act, the chant of alignment. This chant is not music in any traditional sense. It's a low, resonant hum that rises and falls, building a layered vibration that fills the chamber. No lyrics, no melody, just tones. Some say at ease, based on ancient harmonic frequencies designed to restore order to the body and mind. Others think it purely psychological, a ritualistic meditation to seal the emotional turbulence left by the mirror. Whatever its purpose, its effect is undeniable. The sound feels physical. It rattles through the chest, hums through the bones, and sinks into the floor. The candles reignite on their own, or so it appears, and the chamber slowly returns to a dim, golden glow. Once the chant fades, the Masons move to the center of the room again. The mirror now stands dim, covered with a black velvet cloth. The Grand Master traces a triangle in the air and declares, "The mirror sees the builder pure." With that, the mirror of virtue closes. But the ritual night is far from over, because after the mind and spirit have been tested, there remains the fifth and final act, a ceremony that deals not with reflection, but with transformation. It's called the Renewal. Before it begins, the members are instructed to remove their gloves and roll up their sleeves. A faint aroma of herbs fills the air. Sage, myrrh, and cedar, mingling with smoke from the rekindled flame. Each man receives a small wooden bowl containing water mixed with ashes, the remnants of last month's burned intentions. They were told to dip their fingers into the bowl and draw the Freemason compass symbol across their left wrist, the hand of creation. It's a gesture that symbolizes control over one's destiny, mastery of action through thought. Then in absolute silence, the Grand Master opens a hidden compartment in the floor, a square recess filled with sand. Into this, he pours the ashes of the previous ceremonies, whispering the same phrase every master has spoken for centuries. As above, so within. The act may appear ritualistic, but it carries profound meaning in Freemason philosophy. They believe that by burning the past and mixing its ashes with water, an element of cleansing, they neutralize the negative weight of their actions, transforming it into fuel for progress. Once the ashes settle, the Grand Master closes the compartment and circles the room slowly, marking each Mason's forehead with the faint trace of water and ash. It's said to represent rebirth, the cleansing of mind, ego, and error. But in that moment it feels heavier, as though something deeper, older, is being renewed. The ritual ends with a final phrase spoken in unison, "We build again." The chamber fills with that echo. For a moment, it feels eternal. a declaration that whatever chaos exists beyond the lodge, within these walls, order is reborn. Yet even as the ceremony concludes, the feeling lingers, that strange hum, that unseen presence. Many Masons report vivid dreams the night after, doors opening in empty rooms, hands guiding them through golden corridors, whispers repeating their chosen word from the mark of intention. Some believe it's coincidence. Others believe it is the energy of the ritual following them, a monthly reminder that the Builder's work never ends. By the time dawn approaches, the lodge is silent again. The candles are extinguished, the mirror is covered, and the members disperse into the world, ordinary men once more, their secret night hidden behind polite smiles and normal routines. But every one of them carries something invisible, a sense of alignment, of being subtly altered. And when the next month comes, the signal returns and the cycle begins again. By the time the first traces of dawn begin to crawl across the hidden windows of the lodge, the air inside feels charged, thick with incense, smoke, and something else, something electric. The men stand still, silent, the remnants of ritual water drying slowly on their skin. They face the flame, the mirror, and their own reflections. But now comes the last and most sacred part of their monthly gathering. The Grand Master's voice breaks the silence with a calm authority that vibrates through the floor. The builder dies. The builder rises. Those 6 words mark the beginning of the 5th and final act. The Renewal. It is said that the renewal was added to the monthly ritual centuries after the first Masonic lodges formed. Early Freemasons believed that while initiation gave a man knowledge, repetition gave him power. To grow, one had to unbuild himself again and again. That is the purpose of the renewal, the ritual death of the old self. As the members form a circle one last time, the Grand Master walks to the center, holding a small iron vessel. Inside burns a faint golden flame, smaller than before but brighter, steadier, as if condensed from the fire they extinguished earlier. He calls it the Ember of the Builder. Each Mason is instructed to approach the center, kneel, and whisper the same phrase into the vessel. I release what no longer builds. One by one, they speak it. Each man's voice trembles slightly, not from fear, but from the strange energy in the air. The flame seems to flicker differently for every whisper, sometimes bursting upward as though feeding on the words themselves. When the last member finishes, the Grand Master seals the vessel with a metal lid engraved with the compass and eye symbol. He lifts it high, declaring, "The ember is contained, not dead, but sleeping." To outsiders, this might sound like mere ceremony, but within the lodge, they believe that every Mason contributes a fragment of his spiritual fire to the ember, his willpower, his focus, his light. And each month, when the flame is awakened again, it returns that energy purified, redistributed among the brotherhood. Then comes the part that few have ever described publicly, the veil of silence. The Grand Master orders the members to stand shoulder to shoulder, heads bowed. The room dims further as lanterns are covered until the only light is the faint shimmer of dawn peeking through a single crack in the ceiling. The silence becomes absolute, a silence so deep it almost hums in the bones. This silence isn't empty. It's meant to represent the space between death and rebirth, the void before creation. For exactly 3 minutes, no one moves, no one breathes audibly. And then, slowly, as if awakening, the Grand Master begins to knock 3 times on the wooden altar before him. Knock, knock, knock. Each sound echoes like thunder through the stone walls. The members respond in perfect rhythm. 3 knocks on the floor with the base of their palms. The act is called the building pulse, a recreation of the heart's rhythm, symbolizing life returning to the builder. And then, with one collective breath, they speak the final affirmation together: we fall so we may rise. The energy in the room shifts instantly. Candles reignite without anyone touching them. The mirrors, still veiled, flicker with faint golden light beneath the cloth. Some Masons swear they hear a low humming, not from the room, but from within themselves. It is at this exact moment that the renewal reaches its hidden climax, the act known as the passing of light. Each man carries a small lantern, plain, unremarkable, but containing a candle that was lit months ago during his own initiation. They place these lanterns in a line before the altar. The Grand Master, holding the sealed iron vessel, walks past them slowly, tapping the lid of the vessel against each lantern. The flame inside never escapes, but every candle flickers in response, as if recognizing something ancient. According to Masonic philosophy, this act represents the eternal transmission of wisdom, that no light truly dies, it merely passes from one builder to another. The renewal ensures that the great work continues, not as dogma, but as living consciousness passed through generations. But even this symbolic beauty hides a darker undertone. Some claim that the renewal isn't just about moral rebirth. It is about spiritual preservation, that every time they perform it, something intangible binds them tighter together, not through loyalty or belief, but through shared energy. They call it the chain invisible. It's the oldest Masonic secret, whispered in only the highest degrees. The belief that every ritual leaves behind a trace, a pulse that links the hearts of all who participate. That's why each meeting must end with the renewal, to reforge the chain before it weakens. Once the passing of light ends, the Grand Master lowers the iron vessel into a hidden recess beneath the altar. The floor slides shut with a soft mechanical click, sealing the ember until the next month's gathering. The candles are then snuffed out one by one, always from left to right, the symbolic motion of the sun's descent. Finally, he speaks the words that end every lodge meeting, yet carry an entirely different weight tonight. So mote it be. The members repeat it in low unison. The phrase rolls through the chamber like a wave, vibrating through the air until it fades completely. And just like that, the night is over. The men file out quietly, one by one. Their faces are calm, but their eyes are distant, as if still reflecting the golden light of the rituals. Outside, the world is normal again. The early hum of city life, the cold bite of morning air, the faint glow of streetlights fading into daylight. But for those who stood inside the lodge, everything feels slightly shifted. They describe it as a cleansing, a clarity that lingers for days. Decisions seem easier. Words feel weighted. Some even say their dreams align with their intentions from the Mark of Intention ritual, as if their subconscious continues the work started in the chamber. And yet, beneath the sense of calm lies an unspoken truth. None of them fully understand what happens during those hours. Whether it's divine connection, ancient psychological mastery, or something beyond human explanation, it changes them, subtly, permanently. Every month, they rebuild themselves brick by invisible brick. Every month, they tear down the walls of ego, greed, and doubt, and erect in their place something new, something stronger. It's not just tradition, it's transformation. And when the next month's signal comes, a coded message, a whispered phrase, a knock on a desk, they'll return again. Back to the silence, back to the flame, back to the mirror, to die and rebuild over and over until their lives outside the lodge are as polished, deliberate, and eternal as the architecture they worship. Because for the Freemason, the greatest secret isn't what they build in the world, it's what they rebuild within themselves.